After a long year of grieving the loss of my grandmother and transitioning out of 8 years of full-time caregiving for her, I landed my dream job as creative director for Tendercare. And I wanted to make this video to talk about the 3 things that I've learned in this year of figuring out what my life looks like. And also, after doing so much more reflection on my 8 years of caregiving, I feel like these are the 3 lessons that have really stuck with me. And those are: 1, you need to give yourself grace. 2, you need to provide value. And 3, you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the levels of your systems. Number 1, give yourself grace. And I want to preface this by saying that I could do a better job of doing this. I don't always do this to the best of my abilities, but when I do, I have found so much freedom and peace and lightweightedness in my life when I give myself more grace. Sometimes as a 31-year-old person, as a 31-year-old man, I feel like I need to have it all figured out. I feel like when I was younger and I thought about myself being in my 30s, I thought I had to have it all figured out. The more I reflect on that and the more I live my life, I realize that I probably will never have it all figured out. And that's okay. And I need to give myself grace. I need to be kinder to myself. I need to be more patient with myself. That doesn't mean lay on the couch and do nothing all day, but that just means if I have spent a full day of working on things, doing things that I feel are important, and then I end up at the end of the day feeling like I haven't accomplished anything, then I think I'm thinking too much about the output of things and thinking less about the input of things. And I think the input and the process is way more important than what happens on the other side of that. Lesson number 2, lean into providing value and everything else will take care of itself. As a full-time caregiver for my grandmother, I wasn't thinking about what is it that I'm going to receive from doing this. And in doing so, and only thinking about my grandmother's comfort and making sure she was clean, comfortable, and safe, in doing all of those things, I have received a level of fulfillment that can't be outweighed by money. It can't be outweighed by accolades. It can't be outweighed by anything. Nobody can take that level of fulfillment in my life for doing that for my grandmother. And it all came from just wanting to provide value. Maybe that wasn't the verbiage I was using when I was a caregiver for my grandmother, but I was only thinking about my grandmother's comfort, and everything else took care of itself. And number 3, it's a quote that I found from James Clear. He's an author, and he says, "You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the levels of your systems." And that hit me so deep because I thought about who I was before caregiving and who I was at the beginning of my caregiving journey. And that guy, get that guy out of here. No, I'm kidding. That guy, the old young Chris, didn't have proper systems in his life. He definitely had goals that he wanted to achieve, but he just had no structure or solid systems that was going to lead him to success. I so desperately wanted to make a career out of making videos online, and I was never going to get there with the habits that I had. I had poor sleeping habits. I was drinking a lot at the time. I was doing drugs. I was stressed out of my mind because I was a new caregiver and I was stepping into this role that was confusing. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was gonna do with my life, thinking that my circumstances are the reason why I'm not successful in life. No, brother, you're not successful in life because you're doing all the wrong things. I just had poor habits, and it physically manifested into a full-on acne breakout. I don't want to make this a competition between me and you, but my face and my acne was absurd. It was embarrassing. I had the lowest confidence on earth, and it just wasn't a good time for me in my life. And it was because I had poor systems, aka poor habits in my life. And thank God I had that physical manifestation, because if I didn't have this thing that on my face, these things on my face, I wouldn't have changed my lifestyle. But because my face was begging me to change my lifestyle, I cut everything out of my life and started implementing good habits in my life. I started sleeping better because I wanted to fix my face. I started eating better because I wanted to fix my face. I stopped drinking and doing drugs. I started being more physically active. I started drinking more water. I just did all the things that we all inherently know that we're supposed to do. But sometimes you just have to be really desperate, not even knowing at the time, and doing all of the right things. It made me a better person, AKA made me a better caregiver for my grandmother. When I look back on my life, it made me such a better human being, and a better human being can take care of their loved one much better than the person who was on at the beginning of that. So I just became a better person, which then my grandmother was able to receive better care because I was just doing better in life. And not because of I was making more money, not because I was receiving awards. It was just because I had a better system in my life. And I believe that is the reason why I am here today as the creative director for tendercare. I met Shauna Sweeney, who is the CEO and founder of tendercare, earlier this year. She wanted to work on some sort of partnership or she wanted to figure out a way to work together. After months of ideating, we decided to make a documentary about her and her caregiving journey with her father and the reason why she wanted to start tendercare to begin with. That is on my YouTube channel. Since then, we have been working closely together. Going back to lesson 2, providing value. I wasn't looking to get paid out of this. I wasn't looking for a full-time career out of this. I loved what Shauna Sweeney was building with tendercare. I loved the team, and I thought it was extremely important for me to help them because I believed in the vision and the mission. And so I just went out to help them in the best way possible. And many months later, they offered me a full-time position as their creative director. What even is tendercare? Tendercare is a free platform built for caregivers by caregivers. It organizes all of your essential documents for a person that you're caring for. It's also a platform that can connect you to trusted professionals that have to do with caregiving, like home care, elder law attorneys, senior living placement, Medicaid planning, real estate transitions, whatever you would need on your caregiving journey. tendercare is here to connect you with the professionals who can help you to do that. And that's where I've landed here after a full year of grieving the loss of my grandmother and trying to figure out what's next. We are giving away free magic magnets and tender cards. A magic magnet is something that you stick on your fridge or something magnetic. It's designed for EMS. When they come into your house for an emergency, they can quickly scan this and get access to critical information like medications, allergies, conditions, and contacts instantly. It's the same for this tender card, which you can put in your wallet. My next chapter in life is building a better world for caregivers. I was so transformed by my caregiving journey with my grandmother that I can't see myself anywhere else. This feels like the right next move. I would love to give you one of these. And man, thank you guys so much for the support.